Today I will be presenting about Introduction to Philosophy. What is philosophy? These are the content that will be on this presentation. Okay, what is philosophy? Philosophy is the study of fundamental questions about existence, knowledge, values, reasons, mind, and language. So basically, it's about asking questions. What is life? How are we born? Why is the earth round? So the purpose is to seek understanding and wisdom through critical thinking and logical analysis. These are the major branches of philosophy. First, we have metaphysics. It's about the study of reality and existence. For example, what is real? Like what is the nature of being? Next one is epistemology. It is about the study of knowledge and belief. Like what is knowledge? How do we know what we know? The third one is ethics. It's about the study of morality and values. What is the right thing to do? How do we know what we know? And then logic. Logic is about the reasoning and argumentation. For example, what can we do to make logical argumentation? Okay, these are the notable philosophers that I will be presenting. So the first person is Socrates, 469 to 399. He is famous for his method of questioning and dialogue, which is known as the Socratic method. Second is Plato. He founded the academy in Athens, one of the earliest institutions of higher learning in the Western world. He is also involved in science, modern science. Third person is Aristotle. He wrote about many subjects, including logic, ethics, politics, and natural sciences. Another person is Immanuel Kant. He was known for his work on ethics and epistemology. His famous work is Critique of Pure Reason, in which he explored about how we perceive and understand the world. Next is Friedrich Nietzsche. He is known for his morality of traditional European and religion. He introduced the concepts and the idea of eternal recurrence. Last person is John Stuart Mill. He is a British philosopher and he is known for advocating his individual freedoms in his work, and he is one of the first few person who support women rights and equality. Okay. Next, we have School of Philosophy. First one is Platonism. It was obviously founded by Plato. The school emphasizes about the existence of abstract, I think, which are about the numbers and forms, non-material ideals that represent the true reality behind the physical world. Second is Aristotelianism. It is based on Aristotle's teaching, which focuses on logic and emphasizing the importance of studying the natural world to understand reality. So, for example, if you want to buy a phone, you would choose one that would make you sufficient, without being excessive. Third one is Stoicism. This is the philosophy that teaches about the development of self-control and rationality as a means to achieve inner peace and resilience regardless of external circumstances. Mm, It is about focusing on being calm and rational instead of stressing over something that is not worth it. Number four is Epicureanism. It is founded by Epicurus. It advocates for the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain as the path to a happy life, emphasizing simple pleasures and the cultivation of friendships. So it's about thinking if whether something will make you happy and the pleasure of having it is really worth. Next one is skepticism. This school questions about the possibility of certain knowledges, arguing about beliefs and claims due to the limitations of human perceptions and reasoning. Uh, Basically, it is about doubting whether something is really as great as it seems. Next one is existentialism. It emphasizes on individual freedom and choice. Existentialism explores the meaning of life and the human condition from the perspective of personal experience and responsibility. So it's about something that will truly fit you for who you are or not. Next is utilitarianism. This one is associated with philosophers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, that suggests the best action is the one that maximizes overall happiness or utility. So I think it's about not just benefiting about you, but also to others. Last one is pragmatism. This value practical consequences and real-world applications of ideas, asserting that the truth of a belief is determined by its effectiveness and usefulness in solving problems. So, pragmatism is like being practical and being useful at times in your everyday life. Okay. To conclude, philosophy is just about fundamental questions about existence, knowledge, and values. For students like us, it, it develops critical thinking and problem solving skills and encourages us to make self reflection about ourselves deeply and then enhances our understanding of complex issues. So, engaging with philosophical ideas will help us make more informed decisions and make life greater. Okay, these are the references. Thank you so much.
Okay, so can you start from the beginning so that we now ask you some questions? First of all, this is a presentation on philosophy and logic, and the student is
Who?
Pu.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Pu.
Who? Yi Jong.
Pu P Jo from Myanmar, and she has decided to lecture us today because it is her own turn to teach us what she understands philosophy to be. Okay, so look at the content of what she presented today. Number one, according to her, she would have to introduce the topic and then let us know about the major branches of philosophy. And then she's also able to let us know about schools of philosophy, notable philosophers, and then she will conclude and then show us the reference. Of course, she has tried to do that, but this is the second phase of the presentation in which we ask her a question and he takes the steps of the content. Okay, so introductory part. So what do you intend to tell us in this introduction?
So basically, philosophy is all about asking questions about our existence and knowledge, like what questions.
Yeah, do you think in today's world philosophy is important?
Yes,
How?
because philosophy is also related to our critical thinking. So if we know about philosophy, we would, it would make our life very much better.
Wow. Okay. So, Tui, do you have any question about the introductory part?
No.
So what kind of purpose like philosophy have in your life?
What?
What kind of purpose does philosophy have in your life?
What kind of
Purpose.
purpose?
Yes.
Ah. So here it said the purpose is to seek understanding and wisdom. So in my life, philosophy can make me, more wiser about my decisions in life.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, according to you, philosophy can make you to be wise and then
And then
be very critical in making or taking a particular decision
yes.
or what you would like your life to look like or would like to be in life. Okay, so the next content would be major branches of philosophy. So could you just give us some clue, your personal understanding of what is metaphysics and what is ethics and what is epistemology and logic?
Okay, so first of all, metaphysics. From what I understand, it's about the existence, like what is the natural of humans, like our being. Second, epistemology. I think it's about knowledge, like based on our experiences and what our school teaches us from since young. And the third one is ethics. It's about the rules and principles that we set in life and our values. The last one, logic. Logic is about how do you say? Is about the reasoning, like truthful reasoning. Yes, from what I understand.
Okay, so in other words, metaphysics, as you are trying to let us know, is all about nature of being.
Yes.
Then the point is that what's the need for us to investigate, to study about reality and existence? Why should we have to study about that?
I think because we're living, we need to study about all of that. We need to know. We have to ask questions.
Wow. And then epistemology, according to you, study of knowledge and belief. Why should we study what we know?
Because it will help us be a better person in our life. Without knowledge, we would not able to think critically, and we would be so, how do I say, clueless about what will you face in the future.
Okay. Pretty good enough. How about ethics? Say study of morality and values. Why we have to be why do we have to be concerned about ethics?
Because ethics is very important in our daily life and also in the workplace. Without ethics, like the workplace would be a mess, and basically it would not make us, how do I say, it would not make us be uh, able to live good in this world.
Anyway, you're from Myanmar, and then you have ethical principles in Myanmar, right?
Yes.
But sometimes it's not the same with Thailand. Sometimes not the same with many countries in Africa. But we all gather together. Just like now, I'm from Africa. I'm from Nigeria, to be precise, and you are from Myanmar. Do you think that all that about morality in your Myanmar is the same with Nigeria?
I am not sure about that because because the place is different. Our, how does it? Our sense of morality can be quite different.
Yeah, even though they are different places, but today I am here and you are here, and we should be governed by the same morality, the same ethical principle. But my background, that's why I'm asking, do you think we share the same ethical principle together?
Yes, I think like we have the same basic morality.
Very good. But what do you mean by basic?
How do I say? We know what is the right thing to do. Like, how do you say it? You know, if you steal something, you know it is bad. I also know that if you steal something, it is bad. So it's that basic morality that make us united.
Wow, that is wonderful. Because it's very clear that I cannot go and take what does not belong to me. Whether I'm from Nigeria, whether I'm from Myanmar, whether I'm from Thailand, whether I'm from Japan, whether I'm from Cambodia, whether I'm from Laos, whether I'm from Malaysia, whether I'm from Philippines, whether I'm from China, whether I'm from India. Stealing is stealing. And that is very correct. Basic morality. If I want to take something that belongs to someone else, I need his or her permission, right?
Yes.
And that's a basic morality. I think you're very, very correct. Thank you very much for that. So, logic. So, why do you think logic is important for you and I in today's world? Why?
I think logic is something that makes sense. So without logic, it without logic, it will not be as peaceful as today.
Why? Why?
Logic is something about reasoning correctly, in my opinion. So without that correct reasoning, we will not be able to stay united.
Perfect. Oh my God. You seem to know this topic very well. Thank you very much. Okay, next content. These are notable philosophers. Socrates, of course, what I have to say here is that Socrates is one of the pillars we have in philosophy. And look at him there. He's looking good. How do you look at his face? He was a great philosopher, actually. And we are still studying him today, and we are still studying his ideas. His ideas have not left us. Do you know about his history of his life?
Huh?
Did you research about history of his life, how he died?
Not that much.
Yeah. Do you have any clue? Anyone you?
Socrates.
Because he's supposed to run away, and then because he was being accused of corrupting the youth because he was making them to think smart, critical.
Yes.
Then
I saw that he was sentenced to death.
yes, sentenced to death even when he did nothing wrong, just that he's trying to let the youth think critical. So even when he's supposed to have run away from, he's supposed to have escaped from where he was taken to, but he decided not to run away. And so they killed him. And when they killed him, one of his disciples was not very comfortable, was not very happy about the way they killed the man. Do you know the name of the disciple?
Plato.
Correct. Yes, look at the face. Bill said they don't shave their beards. So Plato, Socrates is a teacher to Plato from what we're told. And one of the things that he wrote about life, often based on the way his boss was treated, the master was treated. And who is his master? Socrates. And then he's trying to analyze the allegory of the cave, how even when you want to save some people, if they decide to be where they are still where they are because they're not seeing correctly. Okay, so that is Plato. Then after Plato, the next will be Aristotle. He wrote about so many things: logic, ethics, politics, and natural sciences. Wow. Look at his face. What do you know about him? Did you have any specific thing about him?
I think he is the teacher of Alexander the Great.
Yeah, he's a teacher of so many people because he was one of the most intelligent philosophers at the time. He wrote about so many topics. He wrote about logic, sound reasoning, as you said, and why we need to reason properly. And then he wrote about ethics, as you just pointed out. He talks about politics. Politics is one of the topics he talk about, and one of the politics we still use today. And then natural sciences. Okay. Then after that is another philosopher, Immanuel Kant. He looks like my namesake, but his name starts with I, but my name starts with E. So what, do you know anything about Immanuel Kant?
I'm not very sure about this topic.
Yeah, Immanuel Kant, as you say, as you have written there, he also talks so many things about ethics, so many things about epistemology, and then critique of pure reasoning, where he explored how we perceive and understand the world. You see, doing something for the sake of good, not because of something else, what you can gain. He believes in doing something for the sake of that, what is good. Just be good for the good. Be a good student for the sake of being a good student. You are not going to be a good student because of the teacher, because of the grade. Just be good student because it is what to be good. Okay.
Next.
Then we have Friedrich Nietzsche.
Sure.
He talks about European morality and religion. And then, overman, and the idea of internal recurrence. Nietzsche is one of the outstanding philosophers in those days. And after him, then you talk about John Stuart Mill, a British philosopher known for expanding authoritarianism. Wow. I think you explained it when you were presenting. He advocated individual freedom in whatever he wrote and supported social reforms, including women's rights and equality. But the point is that he's strong utilitarianism. You know what is utilitarianism? Even if you're a friend with someone, you are a friend for what you can gain from it. Everything has a reason for that. Everything has a benefit. Okay? So he talked about it so much. So in the school of philosophy, you know, when philosophers talk, some people support them. Some people follow their ideas. For example, Plato, as you said, he emphasized on the existence of abstract and non-material ideas that represent the true reality behind the physical world. So Platonism then means that about 2 or 3 or 4 people, they are studying about this and they believe about that. They try to design their life according to that idea. Everything they do, they try to do it to follow that kind of principle. They follow it as their way of life. Then number 2, Aristotelianism. They are just students who believe in everything, almost everything that Aristotle said. They concentrate on empirical observation, of course, logic, and then they believe in natural world. So Aristotelianism is simply those who followed his teachings. Then we talk about Stoicism. Philosophy that teaches development of self-control and rationality. Everything reasoning. You have to always be cognitive. Make sure your cognitive sense is working. Your cognitive process is in order. So those who believe in that kind of idea, they are the one we call Stoicism. Do you understand? And then Epicureanism from Epicurus. That is, remember that we're talking about school of philosophy, meaning those who believe in what a particular philosopher told them, and they try to structure, design, and follow that footstep in their life. Those who believe in that, they form they use their group, use the name of that particular philosopher, and then form their own school of thought. So skepticism, as you said, doubt. That is their understanding of life. Their utilitarianism, of course, like Jeremy, Jeremy and John, they always try to suggest that the best action is the one that maximizes overall happiness and utility. You cannot get yourself involved in something, you cannot get anything. Do you understand? Then existentialism. Yes. Individual freedom and choice. They explore the meaning of life and human condition from perspective of personal experience and responsibility. You see that? Those who believe in that kind of ideas, they are called existentialism, existentialists. Then pragmatism, they value practical consequences and real-world applications of ideas. Show me, let me see, something that they can touch, something that they can observe, something that they can see. Okay? Problem is pragmatic. Okay, so see to you. Your own question.
So, who is your favorite philosopher and what is he famous for?
My favorite philosopher could be Aristotle, because that he was familiar with me since I was young. You know, we have been taught his works like logic, ethics, politics, and natural sciences.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so at this juncture, we thank you very much for your, but in the conclusion, I would like to see your conclusion again. So we'll conclude with that, and then in your conclusion, you made it very, very clear that philosophy examines fundamental questions about existence, knowledge, and values. Philosophy asks questions, and when you ask those questions, they bring in another question. That is why they say fundamental questions that probably will give us fundamental answers. And sometimes those questions, you can't even get the answer, because once you give the answer brings in another question. For students, it develops critical thinking, problem-solving skills, encourages deeper self-reflection, and enhances understanding of complex issues. Correct. In all the universities all over the world, most times when people graduate from undergraduate, they are expected to have learned one of the subjects under social sciences or humanities. And one of them is philosophy, because it will enable students to learn, develop, demonstrate how to think critical, how to solve problems in a society. As a matter of fact, philosophy will make you to think deep and then reflect and then critically analyze problems. You have to list the problem, you have to identify the problem, you have to find out alternative to the problem, alternative solution to the problem. So that these are many other things and more philosophy will let us know about. Engaging with philosophical ideas helps students make more informed decision, approach life with a greater clarity and insight. Yes, you got it correctly too. Students are bound to think and think critically. Students are bound when they are taking decisions to make sure that decisions they are taking will not affect their life badly. Okay, so this is your conclusion, and I'm very happy that you also have reference. That is why we normally do in the research methodology. Whenever you do presentation, it's very, very important, essential to tell where you got your answers, because that is why you're a student. We are all students, actually, including myself. So whenever we do a research, you have to show where you got your answer. Of course, I'm posting this in my YouTube channel, which is Igbo Research Methodology. Basically, using English and basically using Igbo language. Igbo ndị ọma na-ege ntị ekelekwa m unu. Nke a bụ nwata akwụkwọ m mere presentation wee kọwaa maka ihe bụ philosophy. Ife a na-ekwu bụ na philosophy na-enye aka onye chee echiche ka ọ dị ka echiche nwoke chere, nwaanyị chee echiche ka ọ dị ka echiche nwaanyị chere, bụrụ ezigbo echiche, bụrụ ezigbo ife dịịrị mmadụ, maka na onwe ife anyị ji wee bụrụ mmadụ dị iche na anụmanụ. Philosophy na-enye aka wee nwee ike edebere gị okwu, ị mara ka ị ga-esi wee handụl okwu ahụ, handụl mgbu onye ọfụma. Philosophy na-enye aka wee solve our problems anyị na-enweta na society. Philosophy na-enye aka ihe ndị na-eme reasoning wee nwee ike reason ya ọfụma. Ife philosophy na-eme eri ka anyị ka ya akara ya n'ụdị nke anyị eji Igbo wee kara ife niile, maka na taa maka nke nwata akwụkwọ. Today is just for students presentation, and then we thank Miss Po, one of the most intelligent Myanmar students in my class. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are going to listen to the next student, Miss K. Kai Sutwe.
Yes.
K. Kai Sutwe. Another intelligent and brilliant student in my class is from Myanmar also. Two of them are the owner of today's class to present to us. So now, K. Kai Sutwe will talk about metaphysics. 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 So she will tell us about this particular branch of philosophy. Let us listen to her and see what he has for us.
Hello everyone, my name is Gikai Sute, and today I'm gonna be presenting about metaphysics. So these are the contents I'm talking about. First is introduction to metaphysics and historical background of metaphysics, and then core areas of metaphysics, and famous philosophers who study metaphysics, and conclusion, and finally reference. So, introduction to metaphysics. Metaphysics is basically a branch of philosophy that explores the fundamental nature.
I hope this is on, right? Sorry for interrupting. Is it on?
Yeah, on screen.
Okay.
So, metaphysics is basically a branch of philosophy that explores the fundamental nature of reality, existence, and the underlying principles that govern the universe. So, it seeks to answer profound questions about what exists, how things exist, and why they exist. And also about physical world, the nature of being, the concept of time and space, causality, and the relationship between mind and matter. So, the historical background of metaphysics. Metaphysics date back to ancient Greece, where philosophers like Plato and Aristotle laid the groundwork for the study of reality. And the term metaphysics came from the Greek matter, beyond, and physica, physical. So that indicates inquiry beyond the physical world. It originates from the works of Aristotle. Throughout history, metaphysics has evolved, influencing and being influenced by other philosophers, and remain a vital area of philosophical inquiry to this day. And another thing I want to talk about is core areas of metaphysics. So the first one is ontology. Ontology is the study of being and existence. So it seeks to answer questions such as what exists, What does it mean for something to exist? And how different entities examine like physical objects, ideas, and concepts. And the second one is cosmology. Cosmology is the study of the origin, structures, and dynamic of the universe. So, like the investigation of origin, structures, and fundamental nature of the universe. So, the questions are like, how did the universe begin? What is the nature of space and time? And what are the fundamental laws that govern the universe? And the third one is theories of mind and body, also called like metaphysics theory. And it is the examination of the relationship between mind and body, consciousness, and personal identity. So the questions are like, what is the nature of consciousness? What does the mind relate? How does the mind relate to the body? And is the mind a separate substance or merely a broader or physical process? So the fourth one will be causality. Causality is the analysis of cause and effect relationships and the principles that govern them. And so philosophers like David Hume have argued that causality is not something we can directly observe, but is inferred based on pattern and association between events. And the fifth one is identity. Oh, sorry. The fifth one is identity and change. It is the investigation of how things remain the same or change over time, including the nature of persistence and transformation. So philosophers like Harry and also they have like debated whether change is fundamental or whether true being is changeless. And the next one is free will and determinism. So it is the study of human freedom and its compatibility or conflict with deterministic forces in the universe. Um, so the determinism poses that every event is casually determined by preceding event, meaning that everything is predictable and inevitable. So the next slide would be a famous philosopher who studied metaphysics. The first one is Aristotle. The first one would be Aristotle. Aristotle founded the study of metaphysics with his work Metaphysics. He explored the concepts of being, substance, and causality. His work laid the groundwork for many subsequent metaphysical discussions. And Aristotle is often considered as the father of metaphysics. And the second one would be Plato. Plato is Aristotle's teacher, and he introduced the theory of form, posting that reality consists of imperfect physical objects and perfect eternal forms or ideas. So he developed theory of forms. The next one will be Rene Descartes. So Descartes is a mind that the nature of existence, the mind-body relation, and the nature of knowledge. And then the fourth one would be Immanuel Kant. So Kant challenged traditional metaphysics by arguing that our understanding of reality is shaped by the structure of our mind. So basically, he revolutionized metaphysics by arguing that our understanding of reality is shaped by how our mind processes sensory experience. And the next one will be David Hume. So he critiqued the traditional metaphysical concepts, particularly causality and the self, and contribute to empirical skepticism. So, he is a skeptic of traditional metaphysical concepts like causality and the self. So, he argued that our belief in these concepts are based on habit rather than rational proof. And the next one will be George Berkeley. He developed idealism, asserting that existence is dependent on perception, summarized by his famous dictum as perciple. So sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right because it's not my language. So this translates to be is to be perceived. And the next one is George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. He developed a comprehensive metaphysical system that includes the dialectical process, which means that reality evolved through contradictions and their resolutions. So his work significantly influenced modern metaphysical thoughts. And the last one is Martin Heidegger's. So his focus is on existential questions and the concept of beings as central to metaphysical inquiry. So for conclusion, metaphysics is like a fundamental branch of philosophy. So and it divides into the nature of reality, existence, and the universe underlying principle. It also explores concepts beyond the physical realm, such as being, identity, time, and space. So basically, metaphysics provides a framework for examining the foundational aspect of our existence and the nature of reality itself. These are the references. Thank you. Any question?
Okay, so we start from the content to start to ask our questions. Okay, as usual, this is our student in the Hotel and Tourism Department, Faculty of Business Administration in Hotel and Tourism Management. So both the first student that did the presentation and this very student, they are all students in the Faculty of Business Administration in Hotel and Tourism Management. So, and the name again is
K Kai Su Tui.
K. Kai Su.
Tui. Yes.
K. Kai Su Tui. Okay. Okay, so the content of our presentation today,
Metaphysics.
the content, okay. She started with introducing the concept of metaphysics, and then she tried to tell us about historical background of metaphysics. That wasn't the end. She went on to also talk about the core areas of metaphysics. Again, in trying to make sure that we understood everything she had in mind, she tried to tell us the famous philosophers who studied metaphysics. Having said this, she concluded and gave us references. Of course, these are the ways most of my students do their presentations because I try to involve students, I try to welcome students when they start on time to consider contents the way it should be in case if they want to do their master's degree thesis, because you have to start with the introductory part of your essay or introductory part of your presentation, and then the body part, and then the concluding part. But most importantly, I try to make sure students always put their references where they got what they are telling us, because we are all students and we are not expected to present as if those are our words. They are not. We got it from somewhere, and that is literature review. Okay, then an introduction of metaphysics. Look at, she tried to make sure that we understand that metaphysics is a branch of philosophy, and this particular branch of philosophy centered on fundamental nature of reality, existence, and underlying principle that govern the universe. You see, look at the picture there. I love that picture. It shows someone thinking. Yes. Okay, she tried to let us also understand that the metaphysics delves into question about what exists beyond the physical world, the nature of being, the concept of time and space, concept of causality, and the relationship between mind and matter. Oh my God. These are very strong concepts about metaphysics. She tried to let us know about that. Going further, she also tried to emphasize on historical background of metaphysics. She said, metaphysics dates back to ancient Greece, where philosophers like Plato, remember that when Poe was presenting, she told us about Plato. and Aristotle. So, and then, Tui is now trying to let us know that the metaphysics, which is part of, the branch of philosophy, is part of branches of philosophy. And then she tried to mention the philosophers that emphasized on this particular branch of philosophy, which is metaphysics. And then she mentioned Plato and Aristotle because they laid the groundwork for the study of reality. And the study of reality is all about metaphysics. Then she went further to also tell us the etymology of this word, metaphysics. The word comes from the Greek. Meta, meaning something beyond we don't know about, which means it must have been talking about God as well. Something beyond. And physical, something beyond physical, indicating inquiry beyond the physical world. Yeah, it originates from works of Aristotle, metaphysica. That's what they call metaphysics, something beyond. So we are in the physical world, but metaphysics is about something beyond the physical world, metaphysica. And then this, our student, tried to also let us understand throughout history, metaphysics has evolved, influencing and being influenced by other philosophers and remain a vital area of philosophical inquiry to this day. Oh my God. So, Tui, you are wonderful. Thank you very much. Then, she did not leave us to go home without knowing the core areas of metaphysics. You see, he mentioned ontology, study of being, the study of nature of being, existence and the categories of being. Can you imagine that? Metaphysical, remember, metaphysical, something beyond. So now ontology, probably we are talking about God here, right? Maybe the study of nature of being, the study of nature of existence, the study, the categories of being, because there are so many beings in the world. I think in African philosophy, we know this very, very well. We have deities, we have spiritualists, we have gods, we have messengers. In Igbo cosmology, we will explain it very well. Maybe this PowerPoint, I'll still have to use it to explain, and then use my dialect, Igbo, to explain it in detail for the Igbo people to understand it. Ontology, study of being. Ndishia, study of Chi, study of Chukwu, study of Chukwu Kikabiam. So these are ontology, study of being. Then number 2 is a cosmology, investigation of origins, structure, and fundamental nature of the universe. Cosmology, study of the cosmos, study of the universe. This world we are in, the world is loaded with so many things. So study of it is part and parcel of metaphysics, because metaphysical, beyond. Then number 3 is the theories of mind and body. Examination of relationship between the mind and body, consciousness and personal identity. Wow, wonderful. If you study the being, if you study the cosmology, then you have to link them with the mind and body. There are some beings in this world that don't have mind. Some have body. Some have both mind and body. So causality, analysis of cause and effect relationship and the principle that governs them. Efficient cause, formal cause, material cause. Don't make so many cause. Something begets the other. Just like Thomas Aquinas said, you want to study God, you have to study God by thinking of a mover. Something moves something. And something moves that thing that moves the thing that it moves. And something moves that very thing. At the end of the day, according to Thomas Aquinas, you end up in finding that there is a mover. Something causes something. Anyway, it's part of it. You can see it in causality. And you might also see other things in causality as well. Identity and change. He said investigation of how things remain the same or change over time, including the nature of existence and transformation. Change. Terminus aquam and terminus adquam. And there is a primary substratum. Something changes. Even in birth, at birth, after we must have been delivered by our parents. When we were in the stomach, when we were in the womb of our mothers, we keep changing. And then we come out, we keep changing. Even the food we eat, a particular food might be used for different kind of food. We might turn it to different kind of thing. The same thing applies to how things remain the same or change over time, including our ideas, including our concept of life, including our philosophy of life. So number 6 is say free will and determination, study of human freedom and its compatibility or conflict with deterministic forces in the universe. Yes, all these are core areas of metaphysics, metaphysical. Then, just like Poe, the first presenter, did, Sutui is also trying to remind us about famous philosophers who study metaphysics. And one of the prominent ones there could be Plato. After Plato, then think about Aristotle. But then Plato, he said, developed the theory of forms, which posits that non-material abstract forms or ideas represent the most accurate reality, while the physical world is a mere shadow of these forms. Wow. If we studied Plato today, we will not leave this class. And then Plato, after Plato, his student, who is a famous student, who is Aristotle, founded the study of metaphysics with his work, Metaphysics, exploring concepts such as being, substance, and causality. His work laid the groundwork for many subsequent metaphysical discussions. Of course, this is not a philosophy department. This is just a bachelor's degree in hotel and tourism management. But they study philosophy as one of the humanities subjects they should do. And they study philosophy, and some students, it is for them in free elective. So that's why we study philosophy, because according to the first presenter, it helps us to think critical. It helps students to know how to reason properly. And so many other things we learn by studying philosophy. And that's why all over the world, in every universities, they always create curriculum allowing humanities areas of studies like philosophy, religion, logic, sociology, psychology. All these areas of humanities that are students supposed to know are being allowed in various universities so that students will learn one or few things about them. Okay. So René Descartes, this is the one that doubted everything that existed. And then Immanuel Kant, we have said about him earlier, so is one of the philosophers who talked about metaphysics. Then David Hume and George Berkeley, they are all the philosophers that mention one or two things about philosophy. We may not delve into them, we may not start to talk about them one after the other, but it is important to study them in order to learn one or two things about them, because they are very, very critical and enabling us to study being and reality as it is. Then Hegel, oh my God, this is one of the philosophers, dialectical process, where reality evolves through contradictions and their resolution. His work significantly influenced modern metaphysical thought. Hegel, wow, he's a great philosopher. And Martin Heidegger, wow, focus on existential questions and concept of being as central to metaphysical inquiry. Then in the conclusion for this particular student, she tried to say that metaphysics, a fundamental branch of philosophy, delves into the nature of reality. Metaphysics delves into the nature of existence. Metaphysics delves into the universe underlying principles. It explores concepts beyond physical realm. That is metaphysical. Metaphysical, beyond the nature, beyond the physical thing that we see. It's raining. Is there anything that's causing rain to fall? We go to hospital and we see the reality about life. We see people almost in this world and in the other world. If they die, where do they go? If I die tomorrow, where do I go? Yes, so these are the things that metaphysics will tell you about. So let me give the microphone to Paul to ask his friend, her friend, a question.
Okay. Could you please provide me like an example situation? Example situation of casuality.
Causality. Yeah.
Causality. Yes.
So
Okay.
causality is like how one event cause another. So when it rains, after the rains come, the sky become clear. So like that. So the rain falls and then the clouds clear. So the sky we can see the sky. That's like that. So another example is like when you do something bad, your mother punish you. So the cause of this matter is like you do something bad, and then the effect is like you get punished like that. So how one event cause another event like that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So do you have another question for her? Because she treated many topics.
So which one of the core areas do you think have like the most impact in today's world?
So I think everything is important, but for me, the most impact on today's life is like I think identity and change. So like it identity change is about like how we became what we are today by experiencing everything, not only us but also other matters like plants or maybe things like rocks. How we are shaped into our form today by like time and like persistent. So how we transform. So yeah, I think it has effect on us. Yes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so for you now, what do you think studying metaphysics? Why should we? What help? What can we gain for studying metaphysics?
Yeah, metaphysics is like basically the nature of being. So as being ourselves, we need to know how we became today and how we need to think about how where we originated from, like what can we became after we die, or like yeah. So we need as people we need to know and we need to think about like the nature of being. So yeah.
Okay, so in other words, do you believe if you die, you will go somewhere? You go to heaven or you go to hellfire?
Yes.
Where do you think you go when you die? If you think there is another world?
As a Buddhist myself, so I think like after we die, if I did something good and if I did many good things when I was alive, I think I will go to heaven. And if I did many bad things and like yeah, so I think I will go to hell. Yeah.
Do you in Buddhism? Do you have heaven and do you have hell?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So in other words, just like Christianity or Christian religion, they have heaven. In the heaven of Buddhism, who is there? What is the being? Who is the being in charge of the heaven?
So like there's how do I say that? So there's so we have angels in heaven, of course, and there's a king of angels called we call him the Jamin.
Jamin.
Yes, he's the king of angels.
Okay, Jamin is the king in heaven.
Yeah.
But actually, Jamin is not God, right?
Not God.
Okay, not God. In other words, the concept of Christianity, the concept of heaven in Christianity is not the same with Buddhism. Because in the Christianity, there is God and there is Trinity for Catholic religion. And I mean, Catholic, I mean, in Christianity, there are so many denominations. For Catholic, they believe God are there. And when you talk about God, you talk about three in one. And there are angels, as you say. So in other words, is there any judgment like Christianity? Do you have judgment that will take you to heaven in Buddhism?
Sorry, I'm not very clear.
Judgment, like in the Christianity, they say God will now decide you'll be at the right hand side because you did something good. That is why you're going to go to heaven. Then, if you do something bad, you go to hell, and that is why you're on the left hand side. So God judged you already, according to Christianity. But then in Buddhism, is there any being that judges or what?
So, like in Buddhism, our God is more like the, how do you say, the leader. So he lead like you should do this and you should not do this, and we follow his step, and like we do good things, and we know ourselves that we shouldn't do bad things like that. So yeah, so if we do good things, we will go to heaven. If we do bad things, we will go to hell.
Okay, so that is what do you think, Pope? In that heaven, who is in charge?
I think like there is no judge because we just follow the footsteps and teachings of our Buddha. He taught us that, for example, killing someone is bad, so we avoid doing that. So like, and we, in other hand, make more good deeds so that we could go to heaven. Yeah, we just judge by the teachings. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. This is very interesting. Okay, so thank you very much for this your presentation, and you are really wonderful, and I appreciate your experience. Two of you, you did very well. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But then again, Mexico maka our students that did presentations. So we tried to listen to their own point of view. Anyị gere ntị ka anyị mara ka fa si wee kwado and fa agogodokwana anyị ka fa si wee kwado. Daalụkwanụ deemenụ ka ọ dịkwa na ndị be anyị si na ka ọ dịba adịbala ibe so nke taa anyị emesigo maka na nke a bụ maka mmụ akwụkwọ. Unu eluzikwana, don't forget, subscribe to us, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment and ask questions because we learn a lot in this class. Thank you very much.